you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Visit EnergySavers.gov and get tips on how to save energy and money. Then do things like switch to Energy Star light bulbs or Energy Star appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. So this doesn't happen to the recliner you've had your eye on, or this to the treadmill on your wish list, or this to the shiny new bike your kid's been asking for. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
It should be sunny today with a high near 47 degrees. Tonight we'll see mostly cloudy skies and a low of 30. Tomorrow it'll be mostly sunny and the high should be near 53. Tomorrow night we'll see partly cloudy skies and a low right around 31 degrees. I'm Rick Fisher. That's weather on America's Best Country.
This is the award-winning broadcast of Healthy University, bringing health and vitality to you and your family, brought to you by Scotland County Hospital in Memphis. Now, here's your host, Dr. Randy Tobler.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to understand. I have done all that I could to see the evil and the good without hiding. You must help me if you can. Doctor, my eyes tell me what is wrong, 'cause I'm wise to leave them open for so long.
Good morning. Welcome to Healthy You. All you hunters and hunters' widows, hunters' widowers. Not just guys hunt. You hunt, Lisa?
I do not.
Where's Mr. Bud? Is he hanging in a tree hunting?
Far east on assignment.
Oh, on assignment. Far
Yes,
east.
Far east on assignment this morning.
Far east. Mm-hmm. Is he eating fish and rice? That kind of far east?
Perhaps.
Tokyo?
Perhaps.
Hong Kong? I don't know. Well, good. Bud is on assignment today, and so Elisa and I are holding down the fort here on Healthy You. We welcome you to the program, and thanks for being here. Hope everyone's safe and healthy out there during the deer hunting season. And we're going to be talking today about obesity, heart disease, cardiovascular prevention, and so forth. And so eating a lot of deer meat's probably good for that.
It is, but I was thinking about our guest,
Yes.
and I was thinking everything that he wants to talk about involves the word obesity.
Ooh.
So I don't know about how it is at your house, but at deer camp, at the Kiger house,
Yeah.
I go through as many groceries
Yeah.
at deer camp for
Yeah.
2 weeks than I do
Right.
from Thanksgiving clear through the holidays. And we just eat the whole 10 or however many days deer season.
Well, sitting on a chair for 4 or 5, 6 hours a day, right? 2 different hunts. Some people go out all day. Makes it feel like you're burning a lot of calories, but I don't think you burn as many as you think.
But
Why is it makes you hungry? It just makes you hungry.
Do you drive your four-wheeler in or do you walk into the timber?
Walk.
Oh, good for
I
you.
pack my climbing stand and I climb the tree like an inchworm. I've climbed 12 trees this year. I have not. I've only slain one antlerless deer though, but that's okay. It's fun to just be out. Good turkey hatch apparently the last couple of years because I'm seeing turkey all over the place.
They are.
Right, so
They
that means
are.
spring should be fun. Right?
And you've shot your gun how many times?
No,
then to
I
get
shot my
one?
bow and arrow.
Oh, your bow and arrow.
To get my little
Very
deer.
good. Okay. Well, I noticed you didn't have any facial lacerations from your from your ammunition and your guns, which
no,
had
that's
happened.
right. That happened last
Yes,
year.
that was
Yeah.
last year. You had facial
You have to remind me,
lacerations.
don't you? Yeah.
Yes.
That's
yes,
okay.
That
That's
was
okay.
a funny deal.
But we will be talking with Hilton Hudson. What a now Hilton Hudson has to be a cardiothoracic surgery, right?
I know as he has
The
two-
second.
He has the second. He has 2 last
is.
names for his first and
That's
last
right.
name.
And he's a cardiothoracic surgeon, and so it should be a lot of fun.
I have to
talking
tell you a
him.
funny story about this week. Our guest this week, you give me this title of producer. That's kind of funny. But
You are a producer. What do you mean? You put the shows together. You book the guests. You're thinking about interesting topics. That's the producer.
I'm just taking care of you and Bud.
Okay, yeah.
So,
And that in itself is a tall task.
so anyway, I got a call from our guest this week. He called me specifically from Chicago, and he said, "Hey, I just got an invitation to be on Dr. Oz. It happens to be the exact same time I'm supposed to be on the radio with you Tuesday morning. I'm headed to New York. Wow. So anyway, we'll get our guest back on. He's with the original guest that we had scheduled for today from the Smell and Taste Treatment and Foundation Center in Chicago.
Smell and Taste Treatment Foundation.
Yes. I thought that sounded like an interesting show. I read about it in my prevention magazine. I do read healthy magazines.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine how we could all lose tremendous amounts of weight if we didn't have smell and taste? I mean, it's a problem for people that lose that. And as we get older, we tend to have some of those senses blunted. All of our senses blunt as we get older, right? Well, sight, hearing.
It all goes down the tubes.
Speaking of hearing, I have a good hunting story. I was out with I hunt with some conservation guys, wildlife biologists. And one of my best buddies was hunting with me. We were in the covered shed on the morning hunt Sunday, when it was rainy and cold and windy. So we were in the indoor, but we stood out in the rain for the next hunt. It was fantastic. It made us feel like real men. Now we just got wet. And but we were sitting there in the early hunting blind, and all of a sudden he's like, "Did you hear that? The quail call, the covey call in the morning." I said, "What call?" Because I'm half deaf. Because of my days in the band business, I've lost an awful lot of my high-end hearing. And so I even have these special little things that, the hunter's aid thing that I've especially made that they're hearing aids, but they're for hunters. Oh, really? Because when you shoot the gun, the circuitry blocks it and it becomes a blocker, and an earplug. But it's still not the same. And so I could hear nothing. And I felt like my dad at the table used to say, nod his head, "Oh, yeah. Sure." It's like, nothing. "Dad, would you like to eat this asphalt? It's really chocolate pudding." Sure. No, I mean, and Grandpa, you know how it is. I think it runs with the family, but it's really funny. But we lose our senses. We lose our smell, our taste, our vision, and gradually our hearing as well, to varying degrees. But we're going to talk with that's next week.
Well, I will reschedule him. But interestingly, the last 2 weeks I've had this stuffy nose, nasty ears, nasty throat thing, and it has really been quite a good diet for me because I can't taste anything, I can't smell anything, and I never miss a meal. This girl has never missed a meal in her life, but I have to admit, the last 2 weeks with this nose, throat nastiness, it has done really. It's really taken care of some calories that I would have probably put in my mouth for senseless reasons, but I knew I couldn't taste it and I couldn't smell it, so I chose not to eat it.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to talk to Dr. Hudson here in a bit because this is the season when I think most people are happy and depressed at the same time because we're all health conscious now. I mean, let's be honest. This isn't the only program and the only media talking about health and overweight and heart disease and cancer, all that stuff and how it all relates to what we eat, right? Mm-hmm. Well, how does that square? I mean, it's just dissonant. It doesn't square with the reason for the season, which in my book is eating. It isn't.
That's a good segue because this Thursday, our diabetes and obesity support group are actually going to have hands-on examples of samples of healthy holiday appetizers. And Mary Ryder, our registered dietitian, and Shelby Westhoff, our certified dietary manager, they are going to be preparing samples of healthy holiday appetizers.
Wow.
So, that's Thursday at 12 noon in the library at the hospital's new east end of the hospital and Memphis Medical Services at 12 noon. Bring your lunch because we don't provide lunch, but they are going to have samples that day. But it will give you some ideas of how to perhaps ward off that obesity and diabetic coma that you might go into.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, does that mean we'll have to ask them if you can, Elisa, on Thursday? If I'm seeing on USA Today this morning that you can get a caramel brulee latte or peppermint mocha or gingerbread latte, and I'm wondering if that's on the diet. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll step aside, take a break, and then come back and talk with Dr. Hilton Hudson II, and fantastic guy. He's the first African-American cardiothoracic surgeon to graduate from Ohio State University. And just an amazing guy of great achievement. He is passionate. He's a crusader for health equality and committed that everyone, regardless of race, color, creed, receives the best health care and has the access to great resources. We're going to talk to him about cardiovascular disease and maybe get some hints as far as what he tells his patients. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon, for crying out loud. What do you do after you've had the little wake-up call and Dr. Hudson's had to work on you? I wonder how he advises his patients. Wonder if he lets them have bacon at deer camp. We'll have to ask him.
You ask him.
The last dance for me. Oh, baby, won't you save the last dance for me? Ooh, you make a promise that you'll save the last dance for me.
Well, hi, folks. It's Dave for BigIron.com. And if you've never tried this outstanding service, I invite you to do so. On your iPad, on your cell phone, whatever it takes, go to BigIron.com. And what you're going to see there is a great, easy-to-use website that offers buyers an opportunity to bid on unbelievable equipment, everything from construction equipment to combines, tractors, trucks, and trailers, unreserved with no buyer's fees and no buyer's premiums. You can also, as a seller, get a great opportunity to sell your equipment to the world through an online unreserved auction process. You don't ever have to move your equipment. In fact, all it takes is one phone call, and they'll send a local representative in your state to you directly and sit there at your kitchen table and work out all the details. I don't care if you're in Idaho, Ohio, Texas, or the Dakotas, and everywhere in between, we've got you covered on BigIron.com as a buyer and a seller. If you're looking for great equipment, great selling opportunities, the best place to go is BigIron.com. Check out the website today, become a registered bidder, or sell some of your equipment and experience the power of Big Iron.
After the bathroom, the most important room in any business is the office. Think about it. Everybody needs the office. Shipping, delivery, bookkeeping, payroll, customer service. The office is where it's at. That's why some of the best job prospects in Southeast Iowa are in office administration. Lucky for you, there's SCC. Get your accounting, business, or office admin degree and flex your organizational muscle. We're on to something. Southeastern Community College, educating students and keeping businesses running smoothly since 1920. Register today.
Try the General Store weekdays with Dave Bowden from 9:06 to 10 a.m. right here. Our two-station simulcast means we get an average of close to 50 calls every weekday. Hundreds of people might be interested in your items, and who knows, you may even find a bargain. Call Dave Bowden on the General Store at 1-800-748-7875 or 660-465-7225.
Superior Cable and Data has a great limited time offer for you. Get connected today and save money and time. There is now ultra high-speed internet in the Memphis area. Get connected now with speeds up to 10 meg. Act now and receive 2 free months of internet with no installation fees or contracts. Don't pay for that phone line you'll never use. Go Superior Cable. Contact them today at 1-888-796-6988. Some restrictions do apply.
Are you pregnant or think you might be? It's common to feel confused, scared, or overwhelmed. The choices you face now are not easy ones, and Memphis Area Pregnancy Care Center is available to help you. Our trained pregnancy consultants truly care about you and are dedicated to helping with decisions about pregnancy and other related concerns. Come in for a free pregnancy test and learn about options and help available to you. All of our services are free and confidential. Give Memphis Area Pregnancy Care Center a call at 660-465-7179.
Welcome back to the program. 19 after the hour here on Healthy You on a beautiful Tuesday morning in the Midwest. And boy, I'm really thrilled to talk with Dr. Hilton Hudson II, a cardiothoracic surgeon who by all accounts and by all reports really is a great surgeon with a great bedside manner. That's as rare as the dodo bird these days.
That's what
No, that's a stereotype. How you doing, Dr. Hudson? Welcome to the program.
Good. Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate the compliment.
Well, no, really, and I tell you, you have a storied career. You have your own publishing company that's dedicated towards underserved communities, African Americans, and really, honing in on the health of people who don't have all the resources. And we see that all over. We see it in rural America. I used to be in St. Louis. Now I'm here. I see it in rural America. I saw it in inner city America. And I'm really thankful that you're out there getting the news out to people who may not get it in an effective way otherwise. What do you tell your patients who have maybe not made the right lifestyle choices? Maybe they didn't pick their parents right and they just had a bad genetic card that they were dealt, and you've had to do their bypass surgery or you've had to bypass one of their leg vessels. And it's an opportunity for you because you've really, I think, been the knight on the horse, saying, hey, we're here to salvage things. But now going forward, my dear patient, what do you tell them?
we try to teach hope and empowerment. Most folks give up or they're afraid of the unknown. And we just try to be as positive as we can, be as optimistic as possible. But the truth of the matter is, if you feel empowered, if you have knowledge, and you have some pride, you can get through a lot of rough surgeries and a lot of tough, medical issues. I've seen it as a surgeon, also saw it in my own family. So pride, empowerment, that type of stuff really helps, and to be as positive as you can. Because most patients do very well if they have those three ingredients.
Yeah, and sadly, I think a lot of us, need to have that little wake-up call, whether it's in our spiritual life outside of medical or whether it's medical illness to sort of get our attention. And I think for the most part, especially with the great rehab programs and the education they do, aside from the basic core rehab services, I know here our rehab specialist is very, very, she is just educating all the time. It seems as though the educational component takes as long or longer than the actual rehab component.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. And it's just as important, too. The rehab and the educational component often teaches trust, because let's face it, no matter who you are, how much money you have or don't have, they're trusting your life to a medical professional. So the more they can educate you, the more positive they are before and after the event. It's just empowering, and then you see that you can actually have a second chance at life. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to do it for my kids. I'm going to do it for those folks that really love me, and it does make a major difference.
Dr. Hudson, it's Elisa, and I appreciate you being on the show with us today and doing the show for us. Hey, I was reading some information about you that your office had sent to us, and I really appreciated the statement that you made. It was either on your website or in your bio that you said you feel like you have, as a physician, a moral obligation to balance a patient's quality of life issues with their treatment. So are you saying that maybe for one patient, that has age or another health issue that is not, on their team, that's maybe against them, that you would treat them differently because you want to make sure the quality of life, fits with what the treatment's going to be? I really appreciate that statement of how you felt it was an oral obligation.
Yeah, I've kind of changed a little bit. When you go through medical school and training as a surgeon, you're taught to treat the disease, to cure the disease. That's the most important thing. And most of us feel that way. And there is a thing called quality of life. Mm-hmm. It's how you wish to live, how you wish to go to heaven, how you wish to die. And I saw my own father go through the same thing. And having that choice at the end of life, living with dignity, or even dying with dignity, is a crucial part of life. So I think it needs to be balanced. You can charge in there, with all the latest and the greatest, and do something for an 80-year-old person that may not want that for a lot of different reasons. Mm-hmm. So you have to at least listen to that, respect that, and balance the treatment options to the quality of life options, so that you come out and treat the patient as a whole human being and not just a disease process itself. And
I know that you're with your company, HiltonPub.com is the website, Hilton Publishing. There's a book here that you talk about creating fruitful careers and cultivating nourishing workplaces. You have other books that are really about spiritual well-being as well. And I don't think a lot of folks, when they hear most doctors talk about cardiovascular health, I don't think that many of us that are communicating, whether it's through written media, broadcast media, whatever, even in the exam room or consultation room, emphasize that enough, because there are real hormonal changes that happen when people do not have a healthy spiritual life and a healthy outlook.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. I actually wrote on this. We published one of the first books called The Heart of the Matter. It's almost 700,000 copies of that book for African-American patients. And then we broadened it to include all patients. And in that book, we actually have a chapter on spiritual well-being, because it's been proven that prayer and having some type of spirituality does actually increase wellness. That actually increase your ability to get through surgery and to recover. That's a proven fact, and I included that. And I got a little bit of pushback from folks who didn't want religion and spirituality to be a part of health, but it is I'm structured myself. I do believe in that, and it's a proven fact. It's not something that's made up or we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants there. It truly is a proven phenomenon.
And I guess we can also say by extension that healers who are more spiritual and more patient rather than disease-oriented, for lack of a better term, more of a hand-holder than a technocrat or a technician, I think they get better results. And reportedly you have a 98% success rate, and then right above that sentence says that you visit patients at home after surgery. What?
Yeah, we do that sometimes. You have patients that you really like all your patients, but you have those ones that you get connected to. We did it a little bit more when I was a fellow and first coming out than we do now. But like I said, my own family members have been through this. I saw it firsthand. My dad passed away of heart disease, which was very humbling for me, being helping thousands and thousands of people over the last 20 years to see that. So I look at this a little differently. It's just not another heart, another bypass, and on to the next one. I try to look at the whole human being, and it does. One thing about spirituality I want to mention, there's a lot of hospitals, and some of the best care in the world is from Catholic hospitals, and that's all religiously based. It's from all some of the largest hospital systems in the world are Catholic hospital systems. So it's not to beat this too much, but I do think it's important to recognize spirituality as part of the healing process.
And I noticed that you are chief of cardiothoracic surgery at Franciscan Physicians Hospital, as well as a national ambassador for the American Heart Association. Going forward, healthcare has been in all of the political talk, and the legislation is out there, and definitely now a done deal. I think everyone agrees on that. Do you think going forward that the emphasis on primary care is going to make your specialty almost a thing of the past? Are you going to have to go out and start writing more books because there's just not going to be as many heart patients?
Let me answer it two ways. I do think that more emphasis needs to be on primary care and preventative care.
Yeah.
None of this, let's get sick and go to the doctor. Let's do everything we can so we don't have to go to the doctor.
Right.
That being stated, I do think that hopefully the number of heart surgeries you have to do should decline. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be the need for cardiothoracic surgeons and specialists in general, but there needs to be an equally strong push and an economic incentive as well, because doctors, a lot of surgeons are paid very well compared to primary care, and that really shouldn't be. There needs to be a rebalancing of that in the priority so that preventative care and preventative methods, the doctors that push that are just incentivizing those who treat the disease after it comes.
Yeah, there's some heavy lifting there, no doubt. I don't think that a lot of people really appreciate exactly what a cardiothoracic surgeon, the full spectrum of procedures and care that you give. It might be fun to just have you talk a little bit about that. It's not just cracking someone's chest 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day and bypassing their coronary arteries. I mean, you do a lot more, and then maybe after that we can jump to a discussion about some of the minimally invasive things that are being done in the whole field of vascular health as well. But you don't just do cardiac bypass as a cardiothoracic surgeon.
No. Bypass surgery is just one part of it. It's a big part of it, but one part of it, replacing the valves in the heart is another part. Repairing structural defects within the heart, transplantation, heart, lung surgery, from lung cancer to esophageal cancer, anything that has anything to do with the chest cavity, we do. And then a big part of our practice, obviously, is the support of the cardiologists. The cardiologists are excellent doctors that put stents and treat you after you have heart attacks, stents in coronary arteries. So we back them up, so just in case something goes south, we're there to help that patient have a speedy recovery. So it's the backup of the cardiologist to the surgeries that we do, from cancer, you name it. It's kind of a comprehensive thing that we do, along with making sure that you educate people about what to do after they have surgery. But I just happen to be the type of guy that actually tries to educate before with our publishing component, and then afterwards, if they have to have heart surgery, we'll educate afterwards. So it's pretty comprehensive. I still love it.
we want to talk a little bit about obesity and stroke, obesity and heart disease today, because Dr. Tobler and I were talking before we actually had you on the air this morning that, we're going into the holidays. And so if you're feeling like you have maybe control of everything that you're eating and everything that you're putting in your mouth right now, that's all going to go down the tubes to come next week. I personally, at my house, that's what happens. I've good self-control every morning at 6 o'clock, when I wake up. 6 o'clock at night, then it sort of has gone down the tubes. But I know that everything you have written about, your whole career is based on heart healthy choices, and we're an epidemic of obese people in America. So, how are we going to address that with stroke and cardiac disease and these things that you deal with every day with your patients?
It's continued education, dogged focused education on weight. Weight is a major obesity and being overweight. It's not being obese, but most people don't think they're
sure, right. I was shocked one time when the BMI, they did a BMI, when I came to work at the hospital, they did a BMI on me and body mass index, and I fell into that category that said the big O. Right. And I'm like, I'm just overweight, not obese.
Right. So it's a disease process of obesity and of being overweight that increases your propensity for most cancers, especially breast cancer in women, prostate cancer in men, colon cancer, to heart disease, strokes. And it's something that you can control. You can't control your genetics for the most part, or who your mom and dad were, but you certainly can control things like obesity, smoking, stress-related type things that truly lead to heart disease. And the other point I want to make is that if you are obese and you are overweight, not only will it increase your chances of having a stroke and a heart attack, but after you're treated, it will actually make treatment more difficult. The contrary is just the truth. If you do have a stroke or a heart attack and you have to undergo bypass surgery or carotid artery surgery or stenting, if you're thin, you actually have a better chance of doing better than those who are not thin. So it's a double whammy, and a lot of it is to be controlled with empowerment, feeling good about oneself, being conscious about eating the best types of foods. We're actually getting ready to publish a major cookbook called Olive Oil, Salt, and Pepper, all about fresh foods. That's coming out in February. It's all about eating fresh, right selections, getting back to non-processed foods that can actually do that. And some folks, no matter what they don't eat and their willpower just can't do it. So there's other modalities that I've endorsed that I really believe in that help with the weight. But all in all, weight is a big deal. It decreases chronic illnesses, probably more so than anything else, outside of smoking. And it's the one thing that we can control.
Yeah. But the good news, too, is that even before people start to lose significant weight, if they adopt lifestyles that are going to put you on that path to weight loss, you accrue advantages and risk reduction just by eating properly and throwing away a lot of the simple sugars and just getting out there and walking half a block. It's better than walking nothing at all or standing at your workstation. And so there are advantages even before you lose the weight, and that healthy lifestyle makes a difference before you see it on the scale.
Absolutely, major difference, mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Just take a little bit. The toughest thing just to get started. But once you get started and you're feeling a little bit better, you're eating better, your blood pressure's a little bit better controlled, your weight coming down, you're feeling better, you're looking better. It's almost a momentum that carries you, down the road of victory. So I truly, and it's little steps. It's taking the steps one at a time versus trying to be a triathlete, just try walking.
Right.
To get successful, yes.
Well, I tell you, you are not only a fantastic radio guy, but of course, as we've discussed here, a great surgeon and truly a healer of the human condition, not just their hearts. And folks, I would commend you to Dr. Dr. Hudson's website. It's funny when you have two last names. My dad did that to me, and I blame it on him. So it's Hilton Hudson, and it's Hilton Publishing, which is HiltonPub.com. And the book that pops up right away is A Minute for Your Health, a guide for physical and spiritual wellness that you co-authored. And boy, that looks like a great start if you want to get a good primer on the entire enchilada when it comes to healthy living, folks. And maybe you can come back and join us, Dr. Hudson, when we is it February when your new book's coming out, Olive Oil and so forth?
Yeah,
okay.
Olive Oil and Pepper. It is. We think big things about it. Yeah, it'll be February 2013.
Beautiful. Well, give us, maybe you can give us a couple minutes of your time then. I know how busy you are. Thanks for spending a bit of your morning with us today on Healthy University.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, take care.
What you guys are doing. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hilton Hudson. Sounds like a surgeon, doesn't he? That's great. Hey, we'll come back and open up the phone lines for your phone calls. If you have any questions about your health, maybe a recent diagnosis, maybe just something you've heard, maybe at a deer camp, people are talking like, I went and saw the doctor and he said I had a pinguecula. What's that? I don't know. We'll have to learn about it. Give me a buzz and we'll see if we can answer some questions for you. The numbers are 465-7225.
Or 1-800-748-7875.
More coming up after this.
Love to me, baby, so good. Take this heart of mine into your head. You give good love to me.
The Missouri Attorney General's office has a new settlement that may benefit you. If you bought an LCD TV, a computer monitor, or a laptop computer between 1999 and 2006, you're likely eligible to receive at least $25 for each TV or monitor you purchased. Filing a claim is fast and easy. Visit the Attorney General's website at ago.mo.gov to file your claim. But hurry, you must file your claim by December 6th. Visit ago.mo.gov.
Billions of dollars are lost each year to Medicare fraud and abuse, jeopardizing the quality health care all Medicare beneficiaries deserve. We must take action to help protect, detect, and report potential fraud, abuse, or errors. You can help by reviewing your Medicare summary notice or by helping your peers and becoming a senior Medicare Patrol volunteer. Contact the Missouri SMP at 888-515-6565 or visit goaging.org.
In today's ever-changing economy, running a successful farm operation can be challenging. It takes careful planning, hard work, and more than a little ingenuity. And it's important to have a bank that you can count on. For years, area farmers have relied on Community Bank of Memphis for their ag loans. If you're looking for an experienced ag bank, stop in and see us. Hometown banking with your neighbors and friends at Community Bank of Memphis, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Winter is beautiful, but it can make traveling treacherous. Be aware of traffic patterns and be courteous to other drivers. Missouri traffic crash reports indicate the most contributing factor of traffic crashes are inattention, traveling too fast for conditions, failing to yield, and following too close. When the roads are snow-covered or icy, the chance you'll be in a traffic crash increases. Patience is the key to safe winter driving. A message from Sergeant Brent Bernhardt of the Missouri State Highway Patrol and KMEM.
To help keep our rural roads safe for everyone, I'll make sure all my warning lights, blinkers, and slow-moving signs are working and visible before I leave the field.
And I'll slow down when I see you and practice some patience.
Yep, because I'll pull over as soon as I'm able to let you pass.
But not until it's a clear area with plenty of distance for me to safely pass. I'll double-check my surroundings, too.
Right, we'll both stay off our cell phones, stay alert on those hills and curves, and remind ourselves
to share the road safely.
Brought to you by the Iowa Department of Public Safety, Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau.
For the thousands of people that have received a transplant, the reason they're thankful this holiday season are probably similar to yours. A roof over their head, family, health, happiness. But it's because of an organ or tissue donor they're able to hold on to those things a little tighter. Be a donor. Regardless of your age, health condition, or lifestyle, you can be on Iowa's donor registry. Give a life-size gift. Sign up at iowadonorregistry.org. Thousands will be thankful.
We're back. 20 till the hour. 465-7225 and
1-800-748-7875. We would like to hear from you this morning.
So I was, what was it, a week ago Sunday, last week before gun season, and I'm walking out behind the house in Bible Grove on the south-facing slope of my little hill there, hoping I might see a deer, but, I don't know. The road is like 50 feet away, so I'm not, but it's just fun to be out on a beautiful, crisp autumn day. And there were these beautiful, they looked like Otis Spunkmeyer muffins, but they were mushrooms. Big, wide
uniform,
stems. And beautiful. It just looked like it would look like a baked good that Elisa would bring in, full of sugar and flour and stuff. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be great to pick that mushroom and saute it up? But I figured, but it's not a morel, and so I'm not going to do that. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because you may have seen the story or heard the story about 2 elderly residents at an assisted living facility that died as a result of, I'm sure someone had good intentions. They went into the little garden in the annex, or the little atrium they have there at all the nursing homes and the living centers, picked a couple of mushrooms, made some soup, and bingo. 4 others at the 6-person elder care home also were sickened, including the caretaker who made the soup. Oh, that's terrible. A wild mushroom dealer, Casey Jonquil, says amateurs take a big risk when they harvest wild mushrooms. Now, this can kill your liver. It can kill your kidneys. So be careful about mushrooms out there.
And what does it do to the animals? Does it have the same effect on an animal? Sort of like a buckeye. American or humans are not supposed to, touch a buckeye or eat a buckeye, which looks like a little chocolate ball, because it will kill them. But the deer and the squirrels eat them.
Yeah.
So what's the difference here in our anatomy?
Well, deer are ruminants. And so that stuff goes down into their first stomach and gets sort of, probably the toxins probably get destroyed and digested.
I think they might have a little
We'd have to talk to a wildlife biologist about that. But I noticed there were a lot of these perfect little mushrooms there, so maybe the deer are smarter than we think.
Could be.
They only eat our morels, don't you know? But and so there is actually a book. You can go to the Missouri Department of Conservation website,
right.
and there is the Wild Mushrooms of Missouri publication, and so at the very least do that. But I was mentioning my wildlife biology buddy. He said, "Hey, bring one in, and I can probably help you with that, and tell you about it." So. Maybe we've got some local, there's always wildlife folks in every, in every jurisdiction here. So why don't you maybe hit them up? They're out there going, oh, Tolbert, please don't. Please don't speak for us. We don't want to be telling people.
Let's dissect a mushroom.
But that no MDC employee is going to tell you, yes, you can eat that mushroom. They're not going to do that. Right?
And the fact of the matter is, in the spring when we're supposed to be looking for morels, my eyes cannot be drawn to those silly little mushrooms, and I know that they pop up everywhere. But
it's a knack. It's a knack.
It has to be. It has to be a knack. And I notice in our community that there are people who hang red bandanas and scarves on the trees over the areas.
Really?
Yes. Look out in the timber sometime if you see a red bandana.
Why would you do that?
So that it's taken. This area is taken.
Oh, that's the same as purple paint.
There you go. Don't take these mushrooms. They're going to pop up here.
I thought that was just neighbors being neighborly. It's like, hey, come and eat my morels.
Hansel and Gretel leaving their breadcrumbs.
I thought that was just friendly. Yeah. Hey, this is where you look.
So, but those silly little things,
wow.
There's a reason it's called hunting mushrooms, because it's not finding mushrooms.
And when I've been with people that are good at that, it's like I feel like an idiot, because they're like, oh, there's one.
Yeah,
I'm like, where's
one? I'm with you. I'm on
I think it's one of those childhood skills you learn. You can't, old dog, new trick. It's difficult to do.
So those white ones that are really plump and pop up, now my eye is drawn right to those.
Yeah, I know. I want to eat those. But
I
think those mushrooms know that. That's why they survive.
Tricky that way.
Yeah, they would rather kill their potential predator than be eaten. And then the other story that I thought was cute, and my wife's probably going to call in out of rage. The Los Angeles City Council has passed a resolution suggesting that you don't have meat anymore, meatless Mondays.
This cattle farmer is going to get angry sooner rather than later if you go on.
Yeah. If you are reading this over breakfast in L.A., according to UST Today, you better put down the bacon. Citywide Meatless Monday effort just endorsed by the city council. Now, participation is voluntary. It's not like Bloomberg up in New York where you can only have a 16-ounce soda. But this is part of an international movement. I've actually seen flyers. I understood that they passed a flyer out. Somehow it got into one of the school districts, not immediately local. I want to say southeast of us somewhere. That they put this in the kids' book bag, I heard. And I won't mention the school district because I might be wrong. But and someone asked me as a school board member, are you going to put this in the bag? And I brought it to them, and the answer is no, we're not going to do that. But and this is not only about the health of the individual because of the association allegedly between eating red meat and cancer and heart disease and strokes and so forth. But it also has to do with an international movement that is claiming that it's healthy for the environment. Now, I guess that's healthy for the environment aside from the health of the animals that you're eating. I mean, that's an obvious one. Technically, that animal is less healthy after you slaughter it than before. But if you want to acknowledge that. But the United Nations is saying that we have to reduce meat. They're underlining the importance of campaigns like this. It's good, according to the United Nations, for people to reduce their consumption of meat because it's good for the health of the planet as well. Growing greenhouse gas emissions due to meat production because of the gas from the cows, you understand. I got an answer to that. If you're worried about global warming and greenhouse gases, just shut the Congress down for a while.
Well, not only
we'd all agree on that, right? A lot of hot gas coming out of there.
Not only does No Meat Monday offend me, nothing offends me, you know that, Dr. Tobler.
Yeah, right.
If they start on a no sugar Sunday, holy cow! Now you're going to hear from this one.
Would you write a letter to the editor of the Wall Street Journal or something?
I would. Yeah, okay. I would protest if it was a no sugar Sunday. I wonder if No Meat Monday is as popular. Have you seen the flyers around for No Shave November? Have you noticed our doctors? There's a doctor walking around.
There is. Oh, it's the deer hunting thing, isn't it?
And I said, are you part of No Shave November? He says, yes, it's a national movement.
It is.
And I said to him Monday morning, are you doing No Shave November? Yep. And he just kept walking.
Aha. Okay. I do that once in a while. I forget the shaver, but
No, this is No Shave November. Yeah. So hopefully this No Meat Monday is not as popular as No Shave November.
Are you more likely to slay the deer if you're unshaven? Is that the theory, or does it keep you warmer?
It's to keep you warm. Actually, I think it's just a break from hygiene.
Okay. Well, if anyone out there has a theory on whether or not, maybe it's a little bit of some camouflage. You don't have that face showing as much. I don't know. You think it's just warmth?
I don't think on that.
But that's a balaclava, isn't it? They call that the little thing that you wear over your face?
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds an awful lot like baklava.
Baklava with sugar.
It's balaclava, I think, is what it's called.
With sugar. And Saturday, you didn't even need warm facial hair, seeing how it was 75 degrees on opening days with 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, but Sunday, I was out in the cold and the rain.
And no Gore-Tex.
I was walking towards the sheltered stand with the little propane heater in it,
Mm-hmm.
And here in a draw, bedded down, were at least 8 points, big, staring right at me. So I froze and I stood there for an hour and 45 minutes in the driving. This was like 4 o'clock, right? 3 o'clock.
Yes.
And thinking, I will get rewarded. If you put in the hard day's work, you will get rewarded. Grunted once and the darn thing ran off. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm just not a very good hunter, but I love being out there. It's fun. And that's really what it's all about anyway. Hey, we'll step aside and take a break, and then maybe we can come back and talk about venison and how healthy it is. Okay? That's fun. We'll give you those numbers again. Listen, it's open lines. Whatever you'd like to ask, I'll be happy to try to address the question.
660-465-7225 locally and 1-800-748-7875.
And if you're afraid of being discovered because people know your voice, just put your mouth over your voice or speak through a hunky. Really. Stay anonymous. We'll be okay. We'll be back.
Many times I thought of cutting out, but my heart won't buy it. But if there's nothing shaking come this here July, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll myself.
In
the mood for some good old-fashioned down-home country cooking? Then come to Steve's Family Dining in Cahokia for their daily noon buffet. Steve's will also cater your event at the location of your choice or in their expanding dining room that seats over 100 people. No event too large or too small, and with a 24-hour notice, Steve can have fresh homemade pies, rolls, and decorated cakes for any occasion. That's Steve's Family Dining, serving 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week on the east side of the square in Cahokia Mo. Call 660-727-1067.
I'm here at Stein Seed with Myron Stein, and we're talking about field potential and Stein Genuity Roundup Ready 2-Yield soybeans. Now, Myron, what makes them a choice to consider?
Roundup Ready 2-Yield soybeans provide the outstanding weed control expected from the Roundup Ready system. Packaged in Stein's high-yielding genetics so growers can achieve maximum yields while still controlling harmful weeds.
Let Stein maximize your field potential this season. Visit Stein Seed online, on your mobile, or contact your local Stein Seed dealer. I'm here at Stein Seed with Myron Stein, and we're talking about field potential and refuge in a bag. Myron, what can you tell me about your Rib Complete hybrids?
Stein offers Genuity Smart Stacks and VT Triple Pro Rib Complete options. They take the hassle out of refuge planting by simplifying to a single bag solution, offering the broadest spectrum of insect protection plus herbicide tolerance. Another choice for growers to maximize a field's true potential.
Visit Stein Seed online, on your mobile, or contact your local Stein Seed dealer.
Thanksgiving weekend is a time for food, fun, and family. The Missouri State Highway Patrol will participate in Operation CARE, a combined accident reduction effort during this period. As a part of this operation, all available officers will be assigned to Missouri's roadways to enforce traffic laws, especially those related to drunk driving, seat belts use, and speeding. The patrol urges all drivers to be courteous and follow all traffic laws. A message from Sergeant Brent Bernhardt of the Missouri State Highway Patrol and KMEM.
Billions of dollars are lost each year to Medicare fraud and abuse, jeopardizing the quality health care all Medicare beneficiaries deserve. We must take action to help protect, detect, and report potential fraud, abuse, or errors. You can help by reviewing your Medicare summary notice or by helping your peers and becoming a senior Medicare Patrol volunteer. Contact the Missouri SMP at 888-515-6565 or visit goaging.org.
Insects and diseases are a major threat to Missouri's trees in prime hunting, fishing, and recreation areas. So, when you pack for deer camp this year or the next camping trip, bring marshmallows, bring your binoculars, bring your sleeping bag. But don't bring firewood. You may be transporting the emerald ash borer or EAB, a bug that devastates Missouri's ash trees. Purchase firewood at your destination and burn all of it to help prevent the spread of EAB and other invasive insects. Remember your orange safety gear, warm clothes, but don't bring firewood. Learn more at eab.missouri.edu.
Welcome back. 6 till the hour. And wanted to talk a little bit about venison because it is good for you. And especially a little bit about this chronic wasting disease. Mm-hmm. To date, we don't have any evidence that if your deer is infected with chronic wasting disease, that it's going to affect you. I mean, there's been some sensationalized stories, up in Wisconsin where there's just lots of it. I've heard that it's either 40 or 60% of the deer population up there is infected with it. Not all deer that get exposed to it apparently get infected. So it's sort of like AIDS in that. It's not AIDS, but I mean, it acts the same in that some people can be exposed to it, not get it. Some can be infected with it and not succumb to it. Although the wildlife people have told me if the deer gets infected, they will succumb eventually to it and they waste away. But there were some reports that in one particular hunting camp where it turned out the deer in that area, all of them were heavily infected, that some of the hunters later got something called Jakob-Creutzfeldt disease, which is it's a disease called a prion disease, and prion is what chronic wasting is. It's just like DNA fragments. I mean, can't really isolate it very well in nature, but they can find the evidence of it, of course, in the animal. Lives in the lymphatic system and in the central nervous system. I know that down in the Macon area, down in that central zone they are actually taking and sampling the submandibular glands underneath the jawbone of the deer, and they're testing that. I'm told that if a negative test does not mean the deer does not have it. It's just a screening exam. But I mean, and they're not going to say that, they're giving you permission to eat the deer because they can guarantee it's CWD free. But I think the point is that if you're careful about your processing, if you're doing a good job there, I think you have little to no risk of any problem. I just don't see, there's no evidence thus far that, because I think it's out in the Rockies and in the northern tier of states in the Western Plains, that there's pockets where it's very, very prominent, and you don't hear about people having degenerative brain diseases like crazy. And if there was a truly strong connection, you'd see
There'd
that.
Be a correlation.
It's sort of like with brain cancer and cell phones. You've got as many stories that say it doesn't cause anything. The most recent big summary story said there's no problem. And then the next day, there was one little report from one little study. Oh, maybe it does. Look, as much time as people are spending on cell phones,
we should all have brain cancer.
Neurosurgeons ought to be operating 24/7 on brain cancer.
They should have job security,
right?
And that's not necessarily the case. And venison, for its health benefits, being so lean, there are some fantastic cookbooks. And I'm not trying to plug the big guys, but Cabela's and Bass Pro and Dick's Sporting Goods, they have a whole section for those of us who cook.
Yep.
When the men are pilfering through the boots and the Gore-Tex and the camouflage, there's a lovely ladies section that has some seriously good books about venison and even rabbit and all of those strange wildlife brews and stews.
Wabbit?
Wabbit.
Wabbit. I'm going to kill that rascal.
We're watching, my boys are watching a badger this week.
Oh,
how do you think a badger stew? How do you think that would taste?
Saw a couple otters in the lake.
Okay.
At the farm too, yeah.
So,
well, let me ask you this
season.
now. How do you tenderize deer? Because some of the cuts can be a little bit, especially on that gnarly 10-point buck. Okay, do you have a special technique you use for tenderizing?
I personally don't, but I know there's a salt type of thing, an actual tender, not a hammer pounded out kind
not
of
like
tender.
cube steak.
Yeah, no.
Now what about these injectors? I mean, you can inject stuff like you do the turkeys. Would that be helpful?
I don't know about this. I don't know.
Anyone
out
there have any ideas? Give us a call.
Maybe those cookbooks that are on the racks and Cabela's and Bass Pro and Sportsman's
The one thing
Den.
I know, you don't want to overcook it. I mean, it seems like if you cook it like leather, it gets just terrible. But
there is definitely, I'll have to admit, you're right there. There is a science to cooking deer. It's not as easy and it's not as forgiving as, let's say, pork and beef.
Here's what I like to do. If you can take those, if you take a roast or something, or even I do it with the tenderloins, I take and wrap it with bacon, stuff it with garlic cloves, wrap it with bacon, and put it on the rotisserie. One of those little like George Foreman type jobs, and just let it go for very short while. Oh, awesome! Give it a try.
Very good.
And then you can make some root vegetable, like a roasted root vegetable, turnips and rutabaga, and
Gives
parsnips and stuff like that.
Gives a good flavor.
Oh my gosh! I bet you Dr. Hudson would.
He would approve of that. The bacon, I don't know. Everything's good with bacon.
I'll bet that because of the spiritual realm, he would say, now
good for the soul.
Yeah, it's good
That's
for
how
you.
I feel about bacon. It's always good for the soul.
How about the pie and the mashed potatoes? We'll have to work on that. Maybe we'll have an answer for you next week. And we'll be talking with Dr. Harlow Donaldson and Dr. Halliday from the ATSU Dental School about that enterprise going on down there. It's really interesting and very, very helpful for rural dental medicine. Okay? Thanks for being with us this time. Remember, be safe, especially if you're climbing up in that stand. Wear your harness. Wear that harness all the way up, all the way down. Okay? And we'll see you next time on Healthy You. Be well. Share it with someone you love, even if it's wrapped with bacon. See you next time.
You're listening to the best in area news, weather, and sports on America's Best Country, 100.5 KMEM Memphis, Missouri.